Like, I don't have to do this. I'm only doing it because it is who I am. That's how I played the game. That was my mentality. If you don't want to play that way, don't play that way. Break.
Welcome to the opening bell of the NFL Stock Exchange podcast. Trevor Sikkema, Connor Rogers here with you guys for what is the final episode here, Connor. This is
Show's over. It's
the
canceled.
last one. There's the last one that we're doing. Yeah, we're never.
Thanks, everybody.
We're never hitting
Hope you
record
had
ever
fun.
again. We dropped the seven. We dropped the 7-round mock, and that's how we're flying out. And that's what we're doing. No, it's of course like we've waited to the very end. This is the episode that everybody's been waiting for, Connor. We are one day away from the 2025 NFL Draft, and of course, it's our safety ranking episode of the show that we didn't. No, I'm kidding. We're not doing safeties. I'm sorry that we didn't get the safeties or interior offensive line when they did our rankings. But this has to be the final mock draft, right? Because we are a mere 30 hours as we are recording this show away from opening night of the 2025 NFL Draft. Connor, how you doing? How you feeling 30 hours out, my friend?
Surprisingly okay. Sleep's been average. Fitting in meals is not ideal, as you and I always joke about. The audience today is going to probably see me devour an Uncrustable while you're doing an ad read, because I haven't been able to leave the room. But everything's good, man. I'm excited. I am really excited for the draft this happens to me every year, like that 48 hours out feeling, Trevor. I'm like, okay, it's time.
Yes.
There's just too much information being floated out and consumed, and people panicking, and people texting you that are just like your friends that are fans, like, oh my God, is my team going to do this? And I'm like, just take a breath. It's going to be okay. It's going to be good. I'm excited, man.
We're going to parse through all of the rumors, everything that we've heard over the last, I would say, 72 hours.
Yeah,
We're
they're all
close
real,
to
by the way.
Of course, yeah. And we're going to
both
bleach
the Jets
absolutely.
and the Panthers are taking Jalen Walker.
First time ever.
Yeah. He's going to play for both.
Not or you got a duel, like in Troy, where it's like, all right, my best guy versus your best guy, and we put him in the octagon, and the winner gets Jalen Walker for their team. No, we're going to go through a lot of that stuff. Normally when we do mock drafts, we'll go back and forth. Connor will pick, I will pick, and especially over the last month or so, we've been doing a lot of collab mocks, and it's a lot of what we would do. Now we are going to come together as a podcast team and tell you what we think is going to happen in the 2025 NFL Draft. This podcast is sponsored by our friends over at Arena. This is the sports super app, which you guys need to download as soon as you possibly can. It's a wonderful combination of DFS, your sporting news, social media. It's a lot of fun. We got a couple of different accounts over there. Connor and I have our own personal accounts. We've got the NFLSC account as well. We would love for you to come out and hang out with us over there as we are doing a lot of NFLSC exclusive content and all that good stuff. They also have a deposit match going on right now for $200. So if you deposit up to $200, which you can use to play in that DFS, they will match you an extra $200. So check that out, the Arena Sports app. Let's pull the beautiful PFF Mock Draft Simulator for the final time.
I'll miss it. I really will. It's a great...
We're going to be using it like 2 months.
I'm really going to miss it, though, during those 2 months. I'll be thinking about it.
Yeah, fondly, hopefully. We're going to select all 32 teams. We can do trades in this mock. I don't know how many we're going to end up doing. I think it's going to be a lot more of conversation of what we think that every team could do rather than the actual trades themselves. But here we are. You guys can go get if you guys have a PFF Plus subscription, you can see this bad boy fully unlocked. You can do the 7 rounds if you want to. And you can run as many mock drafts as you want between now and opening night of the draft. So let's get in here. Let's do it. Number 1 overall, we don't have to spend a lot of time at number 1 overall. It's going to be Cam Ward. Connor, the last time I looked, you have to bet $20,000 to get $100 back.
Which is a good deal, by the way.
Hey, free money is free money. If you wanted to bet Cam Ward to go.
There are worse deals out there. So, no, it's nuts, though. What I will say is, because we never talk about it, I am really excited to watch Cam Ward with the Titans this summer. He's an exciting player. He's the type of leader that I think the organization should really be happy about getting in the building. We were so, we were so thrilled with the improvements Cam made this season, and we talked a lot about it in October and November and maybe December, and now we haven't talked about it for about 3 months. So for Titans fans, I think they should be really, really thrilled when this pick finally comes through and you have your quarterback in that organization.
Yeah, it feels like it's been a foregone conclusion for a while, and we don't really dig too deep into it. But he is somebody who presents you an all-pro ceiling. He does.
Yes.
He is the quarterback who, even though it's not the best quarterback class out there, he is the one that I would bet on. I gave him a second-round grade. I compared him to sort of the best of Cam Ward. Feels like Ben Roethlisberger at times, which obviously Ben Roethlisberger had a hell of an NFL career. And so if you get that, you absolutely love it. There's some up and downs. Maybe the floor is lower than you want for a quarterback. You're taking number 1 overall, but nothing is guaranteed in the NFL draft. So take the quarterback who gives you the all-pro ceiling, somebody who could potentially be a franchise changer for you. And it was a lot of fun to watch Cam Ward, like you just said, be the best version of himself this past year at Miami. He is only getting better, and I hope that continues at the NFL level. Number 2, another one where you would have to bet a lot of money to get anything in return for Travis Hunter going number 2 overall. Now, the rumors, Connor, are out here. Teams are trying to trade up to get Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
The Jags were the most recent team. People are like, hey, Jags are trying to get it from number 5 to go get Travis Hunter. I'm sure they are. I don't think it's going to happen. What do you think?
I don't think it is either. If you are in the 2 or 3 slot in this draft, you have a unique position, so much more unique than everybody else, where the value on that should not really be attainable. A team would have to do something silly to get into your slot, in my opinion, because of what both Travis Hunter and Abdul Carter could do for a team. So I think the Browns should capitalize on that, and I think they will. It is interesting how I think at the Combine, Travis Hunter was plus 315 to go here. Mm-hmm. And man, has those tides have just really changed leading up to the draft, where I wouldn't say it's like the Cam Ward spot. Abdul Carter could feasibly go here, but it seems like it's going to be Hunter, and I'm excited to see how they use him. That's the number one thing I'm keeping an eye on with this fit.
We'll talk a lot more about the analysis for every single pick when it actually happens, which, by the way, guys, we are going to be going, at least in theory, we hope, a little bit earlier this year. So end of the first round will probably end around 11:30 p.m. Eastern. And we're going to go live to give you our instant reaction to round 1, night 1 of the NFL draft as soon as we can afterwards. We're hoping we're going live right here on this channel sometime between midnight and 12:30 Eastern time. So last year, I don't even think we went live.
I think it was
after
1.
Dude, it was like 1:15, 1:30.
I was in traffic for like 90 minutes somehow in the middle of a Thursday night.
I almost just sent you the StreamYard link and I was like, let's just start the show start it from the Uber.
I was driving. That was the problem. I would have done that. Yeah, I would have done that. This year, things are looking promising for an earlier start.
Okay.
So please stick with us, everybody. Even if you watch the first 20 minutes, stick with us. It's one of my favorite shows of the year.
Also, while we're talking about live streams, holy cow, guys. How much fun that 7-round live stream was for us, and even the reading the comments and the back and forth from everybody after the fact. Some of you weren't able to watch it last Saturday when it was going live, but you watch it after the fact, or you listen to it after the fact for the audio only, and it was really cool. It was really cool to hang out with you guys. We had over 3,500 people watching that show for a good majority of the show. It was really, really cool for us. You guys raised almost $3,000 for our 2 charities that we put up there, Tunnel to Towers and the Charlotte Humane Society. And we're going to be donating $1,000 of our own to the causes as well. I tweeted out the screenshot of exactly how much we got from the Super Chats. We're going to be adding 1,000 to that total, and I'll tweet out the screenshots when we make those donations as well. But always wanted to be transparent to that because we just wanted to say we appreciate you guys so much getting in on the show, getting in on the chat. Oh, man, just so many incredible bits and inside jokes and all that, but also really cool for you guys to support those great causes. So I just wanted to say thank you. I should have said that at the top of the show.
Yeah,
but
I echo the same. I echo the same. A huge thank you to everybody. We are truly mind blown by the support, and we're looking forward to establishing a new tradition. I'll say that. That's how successful it was.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Number 3 overall, the New York Giants. We're doing this mock draft together, obviously. Do you think that they would entertain trading down? Actually, you know what? I'll say right off the bat, Do you think that they'd pick Shedeur Sanders here at number 3?
No.
I also do not think that is
don't.
on the table for them.
Without a trade, spoiler alert, without a trade, I don't have him going in the first round.
I think he will go in the first round.
Because of a trade, right?
Either 21 to the Steelers, or I think the Giants trade back up in the first round to get him. Yes.
I'm confused with the Giants right now. I wouldn't be floored if they're looking at Dart or Milroe. I wouldn't be floored if it comes full circle and they take Shedeur. But it won't be here. It won't be here.
No. Nope. It doesn't feel like it's going to be. And to be honest with you, the Giants' process with Shedeur, at this point, I almost think it's more bad than good, right? Joe Shane went to multiple of his games while he was at Colorado. It was reported that they had someone at almost every single game, if not every single game, like a scout or someone in the front office, went to every single one of Shedeur Sanders' games this past season. They met with him extensively at the Shrine Bowl. They met with him at the Combine. They had him in New York for a private workout. To me, that's almost like, okay, so you don't like the guy. Because if you did, you wouldn't have to go through all this work.
Not at 3 overall. Teams,
you know what I'm saying?
hang it up pretty quick. Yeah, they hang it up pretty quick.
Yeah.
The late workout was especially a little odd.
I do not, unless Mara.
No problem with it, but it was just telling in my opinion.
I feel as though unless Mara's making the pick, unless he comes in and goes, you better draft Shedeur at number 3 overall.
Right.
I do not think that this happens. So, on the other side of the conversation, do you think they trade number 3? Or do you think they stay and take Abdul Carter?
I think they stay and take Abdul Carter. I think he's too good. I think the Giants, when you look at some of their problems recently, they need more game-altering players. Dexter Lawrence, game-altering player. Malik Neighbors, game-altering player. That's where it stops. So you got one on each side of the ball. And it's hard to find multiple players like this. But you're picking at 3, and one is right in your lap who could just completely... And I don't want to turn back the clock too much because it's probably not relevant to this, but when the Giants won the Super Bowl, it felt like they had waves of pass rushers. So they know a thing or two about having waves of pass rushers, not just having 1 or 2 guys.
Best teams do. Best teams have waves of pass rushers. Number 4, where the draft begins, as they say. New England Patriots. Betting markets have Will Campbell as a heavy favorite here.
Yeah.
To go number 4 overall. Do you think that happens?
I do. I was a little surprised how concrete this has started to become. Mm-hmm. You know, I asked one of my best people this week, are they really doing this? Or is everybody just assuming best O-line available? And the person was like, no, everybody kind of thinks it's the worst kept secret. Like if they can't get out of the pick and it's a weird pick to trade into, they are sold on Will Campbell, which isn't shocking with Vrabel there, that he'd buy into Will Campbell. If you ever talk to Will Campbell or listen to him speak and the type of presence he is on an offensive line, it just comes down to, are they just comfortable with the chance that he ends up being their left guard of the future? A very, very good one. Mm-hmm. Like, are they going to let him fail at tackle? And if he does, move him to guard? Are they just going to throw him at guard? But I don't know. Campbell at 4 feels a little weird, but it's not egregious, obviously. But I think it's happening.
I do too. I think he's going to be Mike Vrabel's type of dude.
Yeah.
I think they're absolutely going to love him. It worries me a little bit that all of the mock drafts as of late are Will Campbell, because
we have there's no one even else being discussed.
No, and I think everybody brings up Armand Membu, but if the Patriots have addressed one spot on their offensive line this offseason, it's basically been right tackle with Morgan Moses.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, that's why they went out and got Morgan Moses.
As much as it makes me nervous because everybody's kind of saying the same things, I also think that it's Will Campbell at 4. So
okay, let's do it like this. I'll go after you. Who's the surprise pick at 4? Say it's not Campbell. Who's the stunner? Or not stunner, but just alternate pick.
Genty.
Okay, I'd go Banks.
Yeah, I think it's Genty is the surprise pick.
Oh, it's not crazy. They need a running back. He's a game-changing player in a class that lacks game-changing players. I just did that whole rant. I would say if they believed Banks is a true left tackle and don't believe Campbell is, but yeah, I don't think either are crazy.
Banks is on a little bit of a rise.
He's on a
here
heater,
this
bro.
Week. Yeah, and it makes me nervous, right? Like, this is lying season. Like, this week is lying week. And
yes.
So for Banks to just all of a sudden be like, hey, he's probably going top 10 now. Like, maybe we will have him in this scenario end up going top 10 because I think he's a good enough prospect to.
Right.
It is odd that we heard nothing about him. Now it's just like, yep, Kelvin Banks, top 10.
It tells me that coaches who got involved in the process late love him.
That could, if it's true, that could be the case.
I believe coaches draft offensive linemen 8 or 9 out of 10 times more than just scouts. Mm-hmm. And Banks is an incredible person to sit with and be around. Like, I can't emphasize that enough. He is that kind of guy. So that I do believe Banks is going in the top 15, potentially top 10.
So we'll have Will Campbell go off the board here at number 4.
Yeah, I think so. Oh boy. This is where the party gets really started.
For a long, long time, this was locked in Mason Graham, right? We thought that it was going to be him. James Gladstone talked about how, well, they haven't made a lot of moves on the defensive line because they want to make room for the young guys that they want to bring in. People heard that. They go, oh, of course. Mason Graham to the Jacksonville Jaguars at number 5. That is basically what all of the mock drafts have been. And then on Monday, Adam Schefter goes, hold on here. Jags could be an absolute wild card in this draft. There's no guarantee that they are taking Mason Graham. And in fact, I think Adam Schefter has since said he would be surprised if it was Mason Graham at this point for
Which means someone told him they are not taking Mason Graham.
Yeah. What are we doing here? All of a sudden, Justin Genty's on the board. Shout out Brett Coleman, who did this on
I was just going to say, remember the collab mock?
Yes!
And it felt like at the time when Brett was talking through it, it felt like, not that we all thought it was galaxy brain, but I'm sure a lot of people were listening to it like, really? And here we are, and this is absolutely in play.
Do you remember how that segment started? It was Brett saying to EJ, can I convince you of Ashton Genty to the Jags? And EJ said,
no.
And then Brett went on like a 5-minute rant, and EJ went, okay.
Yep. Now, EJ also might have been hoping that Genty can go to the Bears, to be fair. So I'm not going to completely, blame him for that reaction off the cuff.
So I think Genty's in play. I think Tetairoa McMillan is in play.
Me too. This is a head and heart situation. Mm-hmm. Something keeps clawing into me saying it's going to be Tet and everyone's jaw is going to hit the floor. And I think that would be awesome on draft night.
Look.
Where are you?
I lean Tetairoa McMillan.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And I know that this is some draft smoke that could certainly be the case, right? But it's not necessarily smoke for this podcast and for us.
No, not at all.
We think Tet should have been talked about like this all along, where this is sort of the range where you start. Maybe not exactly here for Jacksonville, but 7, or 6 to the Raiders, 7 to the Jets, 8 to the Carolina Panthers, 9 to the New Orleans Saints. He should be on the board for all of those teams. And we just sat here for 2 months and we watched him fall in other mock drafts and it was very confusing. And now we're sitting here thinking about him at number 5 overall. Liam Cohen, who, remember, was hired before James Gladstone. Okay? He was one who was in the conversations for the general manager position, not the other way around. So Liam Cohen has a good amount of pull here. I fully believe that. He can use Brian Thomas Jr. the way that he used Chris Godwin at the beginning of last year as a slot and outside wide receiver. And he can use Tetairoa McMillan as his Mike Evans clone.
Right. Man, that is gnarly looking wide receiver group.
That's amazing. It's a phenomenal group.
And Jacksonville has guys in the backfield that can play where if you took a later round back, the committee would be fine. Mm-hmm. I mean, look at Tampa, right?
100%.
So I'm totally okay with signing off on Tet here, and the pendulum has been swinging for me for Tet here.
The dangerous part is that no one really knows this regime yet, right?
Of course, that's the problem with a lot of these early picks.
So all of the information is sort of from people who you hope have the right sources here.
Yes.
But I think it's Genty or Tet. That's what I think.
Me too. And then there's, of course, wild card. Like, my jaw wouldn't hit the floor if they just took Warren or Loveland.
Warren.
Maybe not Loveland. I think Warren and Brenton Strange would work really well together as a tight end.
Sure.
Duo.
If
more Warren than Loveland. If
Warren goes 5, I might be buying the NFLSE yacht. So I would love it. I love you throwing it out there.
That's like he's an honorable mention in this slot. But yeah, I think we're picking Tet here.
All right.
It would feel really good if Tet goes here. I'm just personally very burnt out of the Tet discourse for the last 2 months.
I am too. Schrager did have the Jags taking Genty.
Okay.
And I think Dane did too.
Oh, it's become but pretty popular.
Genty is much higher as the betting favorite for this pick. I'm just playing total devil's advocate here with both of these guys.
Well, also, if they want out of this pick, wouldn't you want to float that you're interested in Genty? Because he's the one player teams would come up for.
Ooh, sure.
That's what it is to me. And I could be off. We don't know this regime. We really don't.
I think there's a world where Chicago could trade up from 10 to 5 to jump the Raiders to get Genty.
I don't think the Raiders are taking Genty.
Oh, you don't?
No, I think they're going tackle.
Okay.
They're another team, though, like we just talked about, we're going to learn about.
All right, let's take Tet. You want to take Tet?
I want to take Tet.
All right, Tetairoa McMillan it is. Trying to find which screen I have the mock draft on. I don't have my dual screen. I only have my laptop here when I'm at the PFF studio. So.
Oh, man, you must feel like
I'm lost.
You're in a gunfight with a baseball bat.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Not a fun place to be.
Tetairoa McMillan to the Jags at number 5. Raiders at 6. You said you don't think that they're taking Ashton Genty.
I think this would be Membu.
I think it would be Genty.
Okay. Wow, we have a split decision.
We do have a split decision here.
So what brings you to that?
Because I think the way that John Spytek and Pete Carroll have been about Ashton Genty was sort of like joking around and being like, yeah, John Spytek being like, yep, my kid said if I don't draft Ashton Genty, like he doesn't love me anymore or whatever. Or Pete Carroll, he was by the mic. They asked about Genty and he's like, oh, be careful about Ashton Genty.
You're right.
I think they're doing that shit on purpose.
Interesting. But are they doing it on purpose the other way?
I do. I think they're doing it on purpose the other way. The way that Ashton Genty is spoken about over the last couple of weeks specifically, that every team loves the player and the person, it certainly could easily be used as dude, we love Genty. What a phenomenal player. What a phenomenal person. Somebody please draft him who's drafting ahead of us because we're not going to draft a running back that high. It certainly could be that.
Right.
But I think the Raiders are a team that lowest rushing grade as a team last year in the NFL. I mean, they have to get so much better at the running back position.
They do.
So that's just ultimately why I feel like it'd be Genty if he's on the board. How convicted are you with Armand Membu?
Not to the point where I'm going to fight you to the death here on this pick. I think, though, if I was picking, it would be a tackle, whether that's Banks or Membu. Because I think they can get the running back later, but I also see your point. I'm fine with us taking Genty here.
I'd take Genty. I think they're going to take him. I say that and watch me in my written mock. I'm not even going to have it in there.
Yeah, I won't. My written mock will have one of Banks or Membu, I think. But still.
Okay. All right, I'm going to go Genty.
Okay.
What are the Jets doing at 7? Membu's on the board and Tyler Warren's on the board.
Yeah, this is interesting because I don't think Membu will be here, although it wouldn't be shocking. I don't think he'll be here. I think the pick's going to be Warren.
Okay.
And I know, am I the only man left on Earth that believes this? No, I saw Schrager does too. But I mean, every other human being this week has said defense.
Defense?
Yes, I have heard Jahdae. I find out these things because people panic text me. They're like, how are they going to take Jahdae Barron? How are they going to take Jalen Walker? And I'm just like, what is going on? So then, naturally, you search where all this stuff is coming from. I'm not saying any of these people are wrong. Everybody's trying to figure out this rat race right now. But I think the defensive leaks are the Jets in front of Carolina saying, we like all these guys.
For sure.
Jump in front of Carolina to get them. And I think at the end of the day, if they get stuck in the pick, which maybe they get out of it, if they get stuck in the pick, they are completely okay with taking somebody they really like in Tyler Warren.
I also am coming back around to Tyler Warren. I think he's going to be the pick for them for the same exact reasons why we said it was going to be the pick 2 months ago.
Right.
Football character, diversifies the offense. He's the type of football DNA that they want to build around. Aaron Glenn's not going to be afraid to zig and zag like the way that Detroit was built.
Scheme fit to a T.
Yeah,
with Tanner
I agree with you. Even with Armand Membu on the board here, I think they would go Tyler Warren.
They've been on some of the day 2 tackles too, which doesn't mean anything necessarily, but they've been sniffing around Charles Grant and Ariante Ursary. So at 42 or 73, they might believe those guys can develop for them at right tackle. But yeah, it's going to be a close one for the Jets. I do think it's going to be offense. Maybe everybody else in the world is right as the winds change this week. I'm not blowing with the winds that it's defense.
Because Graham is here on the board too.
Well,
right?
that's the one I truly like hand up. I don't know how that changes things. I'm not buying into Jahdae Barron at 7 or Jalen Walker at 7. Graham is the one where I'm like, yeah, I could see it. I could see it.
Okay. So we're still going with Tyler Warren?
If I have to pick, it's Warren though. I've been very consistent with that.
Yep.
I'll say Banks is in play here too. I think Banks is more in play than any of those defensive guys we said.
Yeah. So Banks is getting talked about getting picked really high. And we'll talk about him in a second with one of these other teams. Carolina Panthers at 8. I think this one's pretty easy. Jalen Walker.
You were recently in the facility, so everyone's looking at you right now.
Right. And just from talking with people, I know they've had Jalen Walker in. I know they really like Jalen Walker. Now, that doesn't mean they don't love other prospects, right? I mean, again, Mason Graham being on the board changes things. Because normally in mock drafts, we don't get that, right? Normally, he's been off the board of the Jags number 5, and we never really had to think about it. So Jalen Walker's an easy pick for Carolina at number 8. But if Mason Graham makes it to them, do they think about it?
I think they think about it.
I think so, too. They're hoping that Derek Brown can obviously be back from his, did he tear his Achilles or did he have the knee injury? I can't remember which one.
I forget exactly what it was. Obviously, very early season ending.
Right, but they're hoping, obviously, he's going to hit the ground running next year. They brought in Bobby Brown. They brought in Tershawn Wharton. They were already going to hit defensive line pretty hard.
Meniscus. Interesting.
Oh, was his meniscus?
Yes.
Well, it's actually not as bad as an ACL. Actually.
No, he should be okay.
Yeah. I think they'd still take Jalen Walker.
It's hard for me to get out of Jalen Walker in this slot.
I still think they'd take him.
Yeah. If you just love a guy, you just love him. And it feels like they really love him.
Yeah. Somebody told me that he'd play outside linebacker for the Panthers.
Which I think is really fun.
I think so, too. His best tapes as an outside linebacker.
Right.
We'll see how effective he could be. He's going to have to go to the lab and, learn more pass rush moves to get to be a full-time pass rusher. But I still think that this is going to be Jalen Walker, even with Mason Graham on the board. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree. It'll be fascinating, though.
Saints at number 9. So just to recap, Ward of the Titans at 1, Hunter to the Browns at 2, Abdul Carter to the Giants at 3, Will Campbell to the Patriots at 4, Ted at number 5 to the Jags, Genty to the Raiders at 6, Warren to the Jets at 7, and then Jalen Walker to the Panthers at number 8. Saints on the board at number 9, and this is the team where you can make the most money betting on a player. The lowest odds to go to the Saints is Mykel Williams right now at plus 300. That's the lowest odds. Like every single other pick, you're in the minus numbers or, plus one something. This one, the lowest, the lowest odds is Mykel Williams at plus 300, and then it basically just jumps after that. Vegas has no idea what the Saints are going to do.
Wow.
I do not think it's Shedeur Sanders.
No, I don't either.
I don't think he's getting picked here. I think your boy Kelvin Banks is in the mix here at number 9.
Yes, the 3 guys that I think come to mind would be Banks, obviously Mykel.
Mm-hmm.
That's gotten out for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's fake. And then it comes back to Mason Graham again, doesn't it? I mean, how does it not?
Yeah.
What do you have his odds or no? I know Banks was, those odds were like pretty fat. It was like you could do really well with Banks here.
Banks, I think, was like plus 1,000 to the Saints the last time I looked.
That's nuts. That cannot be 10-1. It'll move.
Oh yeah, now I gotta put it in an authentication code.
Yeah, they don't trust you.
No, I wouldn't either. I don't blame them. I want to see what these odds are.
I typically can't see them in New York.
Get absolutely wrecked.
They're just like, we're not even showing you these.
Number 9 overall, Mykel Williams plus 300. Tyler Booker is plus 500.
My goodness.
Tyler Warren's plus 650. Jackson Dart is plus 700. Banks is now plus 850, and Mason Graham's plus 850.
I think I would just sprinkle on both of those. Would be how I play this.
Yeah.
Because seriously, like, you put $10 on each of them if you're a casual gambler. That's where the value is.
It's $85,
Anyways, what the hell are you and I doing? Banks? I think Banks.
I also think Banks. I don't think they're going to pick Mason Graham because Mason Graham's not at all whatsoever their type.
That's a very
He doesn't have the length. He doesn't have the size uniqueness. I understand that it's a little bit of a different regime, but it's still Mickey Loomis.
It's Mickey Loomis. And Mykel being the favorite makes it so funny on the flip side to sit here and be like, or Mason Graham.
Yeah.
Very different.
Lowest pass blocking graded team in the NFL last year. Kelvin Banks. I'm gonna go Kelvin Banks.
I would go Banks.
Okay. All right. Wait. Membu's here.
He is, but don't you like the left side of Banks and Fuanga? Or do you think it's just best O-line available?
Sure. Man, where was Membu? Hold on.
This is why I think Membu is going at 6.
Membu's plus 1,500, for Vegas.
They don't think he's going to be there.
They don't think.
Not that matters, by the way. Like, it doesn't matter.
No,
but
no, it doesn't. All right, we'll go Banks here.
Okay.
I think Banks feels like the connection. Perhaps we're overthinking it. Perhaps if Membu's on the board, they go like, oh, yeah, duh, of course Membu, because he's there.
Right.
But I'll go Kelvin Banks Jr. 10 is the Chicago Bears here. Could be Membu, but then you got to flip him over to left.
Right, which is
if you're okay about that, you can.
Graham?
Could be Mason Graham.
Yeah.
Depending
Loveland?
on what you think of Gervin Dexter, if you think he's more of a nose or a 3-tech. I thought coming into the NFL he'd be more of a nose, but it feels like they've played him a little bit more as a 3-tech, and then they have Grady Jarrett too. Colson Loveland? No, I don't think they do it. What do you think? Leaning anywhere?
I just go by talent with Graham.
Mm-hmm.
But I understand that I have a hard... This is a spot I don't have a good feel on. In my what I would do mock draft 2 weeks ago, I put Banks here, and I feel like I got slaughtered for it. And now Banks might not even be available to them in this spot. Graham by talent. Obviously, they probably want Genty. There's been a lot of buzz around Loveland here.
Yeah.
Which might be a little not rich in terms of the player, but...
Might not if you go by certain big boards. Like, Dane's got him top 10 in the class. I think DJ's got him top 10 in the class.
Right, it's not that rich. I think I have him 13th, so like it's...
If you are thinking about Tyler Warren, I think you're thinking about Colson Loveland.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah. I lean Graham because of the talent.
I can actually type and hopefully.
Do you have a lean?
I actually think Loveland.
Okay. I mean, once again, that's.
Oh, McShay said that they would think about Loveland. Oh.
Okay.
According to Tom McShay, if Tyler Warren wasn't available for the Bears at number 10, they're considering drafting Colston Loveland. Which I do think makes sense for them.
Mm-hmm. It's been popular here.
I think I'm gonna go with Colston Loveland.
Let's go Loveland.
Okay. Man, where is Mason Graham gonna go off the board?
Is
it here?
It's not here.
No?
No, I think this
not
is...
Not Saleh? Saleh didn't want him?
I think Saleh would love Nolan, Shamar...
Well, Membu's still here, too. Membu's probably the pick, right?
No, I don't think they're taking offensive line at 11.
Oh.
I don't. I think it's pass rusher. I think they truly believe they could develop day 2 and day 3 offensive linemen like they did with Dominic Pooney last year.
Ooh,
Once again, too, this is difficult because I don't expect Membu to be here, but he is here in this spot. And he is a guy you should take. You should take Armand Membu at 11, like, obviously. But I think they are not going to have that opportunity, and I think they're going to take a pass rusher that fits Saleh's scheme. Walter Nolan is just built for their scheme.
I think he is, too.
Yeah.
Even front, one gap attacking, defensive tackle.
Oh, it's the perfect landing spot for Nolan, and it's the type of player that Saleh looks at and goes, man, he could just wreak havoc for me.
Wow. Okay. I'll go Walter Nolan here. I think Walter Nolan can easily go top 15.
I mean, the talent is undeniable.
Yeah, let's go Walter Nolan here. Okay, before we get to the Cowboys, because the Cowboys have some interesting players on the board now. Cowboys obviously have the receivers that aren't named Ted McMillan. They've got Mason Graham. They have Armand Membu. I'll give you a little bit of extra time to dig into that. Maybe dig into your Uncrustable as well.
Exactly
as I tell people about our friends over at Arena. I touched on this at the very top of the show. Arena is the sports super app that is a one-stop shop for all sports fans out there. It combines DFS, a social media feed, and all the sports news that you want. It's also got, you can have your own profile. You could have your own social media profile on there. It's really cool. Myself, Connor, and the NFL Stock Exchange Show, we have all of our own accounts over there. If you follow us on that platform, we'll follow you back. We've had a lot of fun interacting with you guys over there. We're doing exclusive NFL SE content over on Arena, so if you want some more exclusive stuff, even outside of the show, go follow us over there at Tampa Bay Trey, at Connor J. Rogers, at NFL SE Show. If you wanted to get into the DFS portion of things, which you should, they have a $200 deposit match. So if you throw in $200, you're going to get $200 for free on them and free bets right there. It's really cool. It's an awesome app. It looks beautiful. It feels great when you're using it. And we're having a lot of fun over there, just going back and forth with you guys, ramping up to the NFL draft. And so download the Arena Sports app. I would search Arena Sports in the App Store so you can find it. If you just type in Arena, it's going to bring up a bunch of like mini games for your phone. I don't know why those are up there first, but Arena Sports app, or you don't even need to include the word app. You just type in Arena Sports, you'll see it. It'll be the sports super app that you guys see there. It's the logo is blue and got a little diamond there in the middle. So check that out. Follow us, and let's go back and forth until the NFL draft. After the NFL draft, all that good stuff. We're going to be doing exclusive content still throughout the summer over at Arena. So go follow us over there at NFLSE Show, at Tampa Bay Trey, at Connor J. Rogers. It is the true one-stop shop, all-in-one super app there. Arena Sports, go download it. Cowboys
murdered that Uncrustable.
I didn't even see. I was in the zone.
I muted myself out of respect for the people listening because I know chewing bothers a lot of people, and I do not blame any of you, but I slaughtered that.
Very proud of you. Cowboys at 12. It's got to be Membu.
Yeah.
We got to get Membu off the board. I
mean,
mean,
you would think McMillan. They'd be a little disappointed McMillan's not here, right? Although it'll be between him and Golden in that spot.
Him and Golden, yeah.
Yeah. But Membu's got to come off the board. And man, I don't think this happens, but what a highway robbery this is for Dallas.
It can, man.
Again, somebody's got to fall. Somebody has to.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I know that you thought that Membu would go 6 to the Raiders, but like, I think Genty's in play for the Raiders, right? I don't think it's crazy that he would get picked at 6. And then obviously we've walked through a couple of scenarios where we think these teams are pretty tied into the prospects that they really want. And Membu falling a little bit here. He gets to the Dallas Cowboys. I don't think he gets further than that. They need to continue to solidify the offensive line. They've got to make up for a guard spot with Zach Allen not being there anymore. They've got to solidify that left side of the offensive line as well, make sure they have what they want there. But I think that this could very easily be an offensive line selection. I'd even think, I know we talk about wide receiver, I'd throw Tyler Booker in here too, just for how Tyler Booker is talked about.
It feels like he's going earlier than we think.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting here laughing. As we're doing the show, Mickey Loomis is doing a presser, and he's getting obviously a lot of questions about Derek Carr, and his response was, "I'm not going to answer any more questions about Derek. If you have questions about the draft, I'm happy to answer those." How, if you're in that scrum, do you not make the next question? Who are you picking? All right,
so who are you picking at 9?
Fair play. You won't talk about Derek Carr. Who are you picking?
I would hope that he would laugh at that. Maybe he wouldn't.
Yeah, maybe he's just pissed off.
Yeah, maybe he just hates it right now.
Anyway, I agree. Membu at 12 in this slot.
Yeah. Okay, Membu to the Dallas Cowboys at number 12. 13, Miami
This
Dolphins.
has to be Graham. If he made it here.
I would think that this would be Graham.
They need help on a lot of areas of defense. I think if Graham's gone, they're going to be all over the DBs, but Graham is here.
Look, we love Mason Graham.
Yes, we do. We're the only 2 people in the world that still love him. It's not cool. It is not cool to like Mason Graham, we found out.
I think there's a lot of NFL teams that are just like, yeah, this is the right round for him, or this is the right range for him. Like middle of the first round.
Yep.
Not the top 10. So as crazy as it seems for him to still be on the board, I think it's a reality that he could still be on top of the board right here.
Sure. Came in lower weight than expected, short arms.
Shorter arms than expected, even for having short arms, to be honest with you.
And didn't test.
Yep.
That's a recipe for, okay, you're not falling out of the first round, but you might fall a couple spots.
Mm-hmm. Mason Graham to the Miami Dolphins there at number 13, this predictive mock draft. Colts at 14. This is now a very interesting pick because I don't know how many scenarios we've gone through where both Tyler Warren and Colston Loveland are off the board for them.
No, we haven't. And it goes back to one combo we've had about them potentially taking a linebacker.
I have heard that Jihad Campbell's shoulder could be more of an issue than we originally thought.
That's the issue, where it doesn't seem like he's going in the top 15 at all anymore.
No, he had the labrum surgery, and Ian Rappaport tweeted this out, and I'm not throwing Ian under the bus, but Ian tweeted out that Jihad Campbell, was already working out and he was already running, and that like he's going to be ready for training camp, and that seems a little bit like it was agent fed, which is again like fine that Rapp is reporting it. Again, like I'm not trying to throw Ian Rappaport under the bus at all, but if he's reporting that from the agent side of things, that's also very best case scenario because the agent is going to cape for the best case scenario for his prospect.
Always.
So if, he'll be ready for training camp is the best case scenario, you're missing mini camp, you're missing voluntary and mandatory OTAs, and then you're hoping that you're hitting the ground running in July as a rookie when you weren't on the field, when you had the ability to be on the field a little bit earlier with rookie mini camp and OTAs and all that kinds of stuff. And then there's the reality where maybe you aren't ready for training camp. Maybe you missed 2 weeks of training camp. Maybe you're behind the 8 ball and just starting to get acclimated to NFL life with 2 weeks left in training camp, and then, there it is, week 1, figure it out. We need you. We picked you at 14. I don't know, man. I feel like he's going to fall a little bit further than this. I do. Talented enough to be picked in the top 20, in my opinion, no doubt. But NFL teams get really nervous when you miss the first offseason stuff as a rookie because of injury.
Right.
So I don't know what to do here.
Well, I just want to say, tip of the cap to you. Incredible job. You completely put Ian Rappaport in the walls of Jericho.
I did.
He is just looking for a rope break any way possible right now. You are not letting go.
Ian's always been very nice to me. Shout out Ian.
I'm just kidding. I just had to do it. Had to do it to him. All right, so...
Wait, hold on. Can I tell you this story?
Please.
Max Chadwick told me this story. He was working, I believe, a radio show as a producer for Bubba Ray Dudley.
Wow.
As one of his first
so
jobs.
So much going on here.
I think one of his first jobs outside of college. You said the Walls of Jericho, so I'm linking that with the rest.
It's just Bubba Ray Dudley doing a radio show and Max is producing it. Keep going.
And Max is producing it. And Max said that somebody called one time and he's like, hey, it's Adam Copeland. Can you put me on with Bubba Ray? Do you know who that is if I say that name?
Yes. Good. Keep going.
Okay, I didn't. And so Max is like, hey, Adam, thanks for calling.
He thought it was like Adam from...
Yes. He's like, hey, Adam, thanks for calling, man. We got a lot of calls in front of you, so I'll kind of put you in line. And he's like, dude.
I'm Adam Copeland.
This is Edge, the rated R superstar. And Max was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Dude, because I think the only reason I know that now is because I think when he moved to AEW, and I don't watch, unfortunately, really any wrestling anymore, but I see clips. It's a great way to keep up with it without watching. That's what they had. Edge is a WWE licensed name. So he goes by Adam Copeland now. But to be fair, especially even back then, a lot of people wouldn't know that.
I didn't know it.
But number one, the fact that dude, this is Edge, the rated R superstar, is a 10 out of 10 line. And then he's just about to spear Max.
Shout out Max Chadwick.
Phenomenal story.
Yeah, go follow those guys and all the great work that they're doing over at PFF.
And the rated R superstar.
PFF College Show as well. Well, all right, what are we doing here at 14 with the Colts?
Man, this is.
They're probably trading back.
Yeah, but who the hell is coming to 14?
Somebody to go get an edge rusher that the Falcons would take.
Oh, okay.
Like the Bengals, maybe.
Like somebody really like Shamar or Ezraku or Michael.
Or Mike Green, right?
Or Mike Green.
We've heard Mike Green for the Falcons. We've heard Mike Green for the Bengals. Do the Bengals love Mike Green? And nah, we got to get up in front of the Falcons. They're going to take him.
Yeah.
We don't have to do trades in this. I just wanted to throw out that scenario.
No, it's a good call. This is really tricky.
Maybe they could take an edge rusher?
They, in theory, could. I know they have a lot of bodies there.
Let's see. Let's take a look at the top 100.
Is it just too early to go best offensive lineman available?
Ooh, you think they would?
I don't know. I'm asking the question because this did not break the way we hope for them.
Let's see. Would they go Tyler Booker? I don't know. I don't think they would do that.
Not in that scheme, they wouldn't.
No, and Bauer wouldn't draft a guard there. I guess he drafted Quentin Nelson, but I don't think he would draft a guard there. I don't think they'd take Jahdae Barron.
I don't think so either.
Maybe they do believe in Jod Cam. I just don't think that they would.
It just depends what we don't have the medical information with Campbell. Because in theory, this is a fit and he's worthy of this slot.
Would they take Ezraku?
I don't hate that. I think Ezraku feels like he could go earlier than what people have been anticipating.
I think they could take Ezraku. Because I don't think they feel the need to take Jahdae Barron. Maybe they would like him a lot.
I would go Ezraku. I still have no problem. I have no problem going Campbell, but
You think we should just because they need it?
No, I would never draft for need either. It's not like their pass rush is dynamic. They're just hoping certain guys hit.
I really don't know.
Let's go Ezraku. Ezraku.
All right, Ezraku at 14 to the Colts. Falcons at 15. Do we think it's Mike Green? Do we think it's Will Johnson? Will Johnson's still here as well.
I'd lean Mike Green. Medical depending on Jihad Campbell again. Mm-hmm. That's where I would lean. Those two.
All right.
I'd lean Mike Green.
I think I would too.
15 feels right.
Yeah. Cardinals is 16.
Gets tricky. I mean, honestly, I think this is where Michael would go.
Ooh, you think?
I heard a little rumbling about this. Didn't know if he'd be there. He's sitting here in our mock draft. Feels a lot more digestible than Michael in the top 10. I know they have some big edge players already, but we've discussed in this podcast that they still have a need up front. Yeah, I think I'd go Michael here.
Ooh, they've met with... I'm looking at some of the top 30 visits the Cardinals have had. So Kelvin Banks is one. Darius Alexander. Kenneth Grant. Josh Simmons. Josh Simmons is interesting.
I don't think he goes this early, but nothing would surprise me with the talent he has.
Jahad Campbell. That's probably, for a medical check.
It's weird.
Bull Rush McIntyre
had a visit there?
He did, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, on paper, their front, like, there's a lot to like about their front outside of off-ball linebacker. And it's some guys are bridge guys, like Calais Campbell and Dalvin Tomlinson, who they gave a lot of money to. Darius Robinson is obviously somebody they've invested a lot into. They signed Josh Sweat. They have Baron Browning.
They did bring in Will Johnson, but a lot of the other running back or a lot of the other players are pass rushers. It's the top pass rushers. It's Michael Williams. It's Nick Scorton. It's Shamar Stewart.
Wow,
it's Princely Allen. What?
That many, huh?
According to I'm looking at Arizona Sports, like they're tracking the top 30s.
Yeah,
they had Jalen Walker. They had Jahad Campbell, Walter Nolan, Kenneth Grant. Like they are still very much looking at D-line at the top.
I think Michael. I do. I feel oddly good about it.
Okay. All right, let's do it. Michael Williams to the Cardinals is 16. Where do I have him at? Scrolling, there he is. Bengals is 17.
So they have the ongoing issue with Trey Hendrickson.
Yeah.
They need a guard in the worst way.
Yeah.
This could be where the Booker combo starts.
Ooh,
which I still find it very odd that Booker looks to be a first-round pick. But once again, this mock draft is not a conversation about like what we necessarily disagree with anymore in terms of who should and who shouldn't go. We are trying to figure out what the first round will look like.
Some Bengals top 30 visits. We got Darius Alexander. We got Josh Connerly. Josh Simmons. Omar Norman Lott. Hell yeah, brothers. Big Jonah. James Pierce. Walter Nolan. Nicky Manwari.
I mean, they just did the whole buffet.
Like the Ohio State backs.
They took like the wings from the buffet and then put like the sushi next to it. Like this is just there's no trail here at all. By the way, I don't think you not get sushi at a buffet.
Oh, I do it all the time. Got an iron stomach, brother.
Oh man,
do it all the time.
I think when we get stuck Kenneth like Grant, this, it's good to name like three players that you'd lean on. I think Kenneth Grant. Honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if Shamar Stewart's in play here, and Booker. They love the biggest humans possible on this offensive line.
They do.
It's just like a slam dunk with them. Are you a colossal people mover? Then please play on our offensive line. I know that's like a really simplified way of looking at this, and I don't think it's just down to Booker. I want to be very clear.
I mean, they've done so much work on defensive linemen, yeah. Walter Nolan, Kenneth Grant.
Kenneth Grant, we've put here a lot.
Omar Norman Lott. I would go Kenneth Grant, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. I think they would lean Kenneth Grant in this situation. Let's do that.
Then if you figure it out with Hendrickson, you start to feel really good about your defensive line again.
Yeah. All right, Kenneth Grant to the Bengals at 17. Seahawks at 18.
So, and it doesn't matter because he's not here.
Oh.
I've heard they are open to taking a perimeter receiver in the first round, like a Tet McMillan.
I think they would do that. I also think that they would take Colston Loveland.
Me too.
He makes it.
Basically a big target to complement Jackson Smith and Jigba and help Sam Darnold. Where I admittedly have been way too Gray Zabel, and I still think he's an amazing fit here. But Seattle having multiple second-round picks, they might be able to solve their interior offensive line on day 2 and get a playmaker here.
Yeah.
But this fell not that way. Like, I don't view Matthew Golden like that personally.
Oh, yeah, Golden is still here.
I think you'd want him to play
Buka.
in and out, not just out. And I guess with Loveland, he could play on the line of scrimmage, so it's different. Those are different combos.
Yeah, and they paid Cooper Kupp a good amount. You know,
They did pay Cooper Kupp a good amount.
So,
and they have JSN.
Right.
Like, I was hearing like big perimeter threat, Ted McMillan style.
Right.
And that's why I put Jaden Higgins or Elkiah Manor or guys like that in the second round of them before.
I'm looking up the Seahawks top 30 visits. Let's see. What do we got here? Tyler Shuck.
There it is.
Nicky Manwari, Savion Williams. That's hilarious. Chase Lunt, Bryce Cable-Dew.
See, I love this. They are using their visits on day 3 guys.
Savone Revel, Mason Taylor, Jared Wilson, Jalen Milroe, Michael Williams, Princely Umanmielen, Tetero McMillan, Kyle Williams, Shamar Stewart, Jihad Campbell, Will Johnson. Yeah, I kind of think it's one of Jihad Campbell or Will Johnson.
Big corner. Well, in Johnson, and then obviously.
They're going to draft corner at some point in this draft. I don't know if it's going to be in the first round, but they're going to draft one.
Yes, they are.
I'm kind of thinking Will Johnson.
Will Johnson, if he's okay medically, like, he's well worth this pick.
Yeah. I think I'm leaning Will Johnson here. Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's go Will Johnson. Tampa at 19, before we read that off, I got to talk to all the parents out there. What's your child's future success look like for you? Maybe it's them traveling the world. Maybe it's them owning their own business, just having a flexible life with their family. Whatever it is, you can help them achieve that with a kid's investment account from Fabric by Gerber Life. Fabric by Gerber Life was designed by parents for parents to make it easy to plan for and manage your family's financial path. With the kids' investment account from Fabric, you can start investing in your child's future today. Kids can't invest while they're minors, but a kid's investment account allows you to invest on their behalf, gives their investments so much more time to grow. Whole thing is online, very easy to set up an account. Could take you as little as just 5 minutes. Then you just manage your child's account and monitor their investments right from your phone. The funds can be used for nearly anything, benefiting your child from tuition, tutors, music classes, sporting events, and then when they're adults, maybe you are helping them buy that first house, buy that first car, start their own business, whatever it is. Join the thousands of parents who trust Fabric to help protect their family. Start investing in your child's future today at meetfabric.com/stock exchange. Meetfabric.com/stock exchange, MEET, fabric.com/stock exchange. Portfolios are managed by Fort Washington Investment Advisors Incorporated. All additional services are provided by Apex Clearing Corporation. All investing there is subject to risk. Learn more at meetfabric.com. Bucks at 19. No Ezraku. No Will Johnson. Johnny Barron, though.
That's interesting.
He's not as long
right
as the corners that the Bucks typically go for.
Yeah, Bowles definitely likes length at corner.
But he is a nice off-coverage corner.
And he could do some safety stuff for you. That wouldn't Barron wouldn't surprise me here. I would probably yeah.
I actually think it's between Jihad Campbell and Gray Zabel. Like, Barron, I think, should be in the conversation. I don't know how much for them he's in the conversation.
Gray Zabel?
Yeah.
I didn't see that. I didn't see that one coming.
I just think that, like, he is Jason Light's offensive lineman to a T. And if they believe that there's any sort of upgrade to be had at guard at either spot long term, I just wonder if that is in the equation. I kind of want to draft Jihad Campbell here.
I do too, more so than Zabel.
Shoulder injury be damned. Like, he is exactly what they need. So if they think that he will be fine long term, he's kind of the guy that you want to draft. So I would go Jihad Campbell here.
Let's go Campbell.
Okay. I have a sneaky one here for Denver.
Okay, I'm excited to see where you go.
Emeka Egbuka.
Yeah. So that's the pick I did in my if I was a GM mock, and I thought I was just kind of, riding my own wave. Mm-hmm. And now I've sat on it for 2 weeks, and I'm like, no, I actually think they might. This is their kind of style.
I think that he is the inside-out wide receiver that gives them a ton of versatility. I think he could be a wide receiver one for them in the future, if not, very soon into his rookie contract. And that's even with Cortland Sutton there. I think that highly of Emeka Egbuka. Excuse me.
Stay with me here. We can't lose you. The draft didn't start.
Premium. Sorry, brother.
It is brutal right now.
And I just feel as though Emeka Egbuka is pretty universally loved throughout this draft process.
And they put a premium on their guys blocking in this offense.
And he can block.
He is phenomenal as a blocker. He's really phenomenal in everything he was asked of at Ohio State.
I don't know. What do you think here? No tight end to tempt them. So defensive line, but what do you think?
I did some real digging. I don't think this is going to be a Marion Hampton like consensus does. Mm-hmm. So I want to get that out of the way for anyone wondering, like, why wouldn't they just take Hampton? Maybe I have wrong info. I don't think it's Hampton here. So, but I think it's a skill player. So I'd go with Emeka.
Then I kind of think it's Emeka Egbuka. I think Sean Payton is going to see this guy as just a jack of all trades of the position type of a guy. Mm-hmm. I think when we focused on the term joker, it's like, okay, that can sometimes be a guy who plays in the backfield or plays in the slot or plays as a tight end. Like, it could also just be a wide receiver that you can use in any alignment.
He got jet sweeps. They motioned him as a lead blocker. He does different things.
I think this dude is Sean Payton's joker prospect. So I'm going to go Emeka. I think we should go Emeka Egbuka.
Yeah, I think we see eye to eye on this pick pretty clearly.
Steelers at 21. Shedeur Sanders is on the board. I think if Shedeur is here, they draft him at 21.
Wow, I don't, but they're such a weird organization in terms of just like doing whatever the hell they want rather than following the flow of things. And Tomlin is obviously a guy that would be able to handle the noise that comes with Shedeur, which isn't always Shedeur's fault. Mm-hmm. He's Deion's son, right? Like, this is always going to happen. I don't, but I'm not saying that with supreme confidence. I just won't have Shedeur Sanders in a first round that doesn't have trades.
I think that if Shedeur makes it to them at 21, they will take Shedeur Sanders. And if he doesn't make it to them at 21, I don't think this is a quarterback. I think they pick a different position, and I think they figure it out with Aaron Rodgers, and they get the contract done.
So that's the question. They have a feel or know better than any of us whatever the hell Aaron Rodgers is going to do. Mm-hmm. If they have a feel that he's going to leave them at the altar, then you better start thinking quarterback here, I would imagine.
Because they don't have a second-round pick because of the DK trade.
Right, or trade for Kirk Cousins or whatever it may be.
Right.
But if they think Rodgers is going to be the guy there, that is a weird dynamic. Like, this team still has needs. Like, I would think Derek Harmon instead here if Rodgers is coming.
Right. I'm totally with you. If we're not going to take a quarterback, I think it's probably defensive line.
Yeah.
I think it's a defensive tackle.
I think I lean Harmon when I go through this exercise, but knowing Shedeur is the ultimate wild card of the entire mock draft.
All right, we'll go Harmon.
Okay.
We can go Harmon here. Chargers 22.
Shamar.
I don't know if they will like Shamar.
Interesting.
Right? Like, not productive at all. Maybe it should. Maybe they like him as just a recruit, but I don't really think that they'd be in on Shamar Stewart.
What trips me up on Shamar is that has nothing to do with him, but also something to do with him, is that I heard they really also like Mike Green, where if you're on like that type of pass rusher, you would think Mike Green, Ezeraku, even to a much lower degree, not at this pick, Pierce. Mm-hmm. Not Shamar and Michael, right? Like,
right.
So that's where I can't figure them out. I also would love Derek Harmon for them, but he's gone.
Yeah. Defensive tackle. Those dudes went.
They went. They're gone. I don't think Tyleek's going in the first round, so they're gone.
No. Jahdae Barron, James Pierce Jr., Matthew Golden.
Yep.
I would love to throw Luther Burden in there. I just have no idea what they think of Luther Burden.
Yeah. It feels like either a team loves Burden and they're doing a great job keeping it quiet, or he's going to be the guy everyone talks about when Friday night starts. Mm-hmm. That's my kind of Burden take.
So do we think James Pierce then?
I don't think Pierce goes this early.
Okay. Which way we lean it?
I know, it's really tricky.
I could see them liking Golden. Let's see. Chargers top 30 visits. Let's see. What do we got here? This is from Alex Indorf, who works for Bolts Beat. Just want to make sure I shouted that out. Colson Loveland. Surprise, surprise. Matthew Golden isn't on here.
Yeah, I could see that.
Kobe
They
Bryant.
have to know internally, like QJ, there's just,
Ahmed Hassanin.
skeptical.
Carson Swessinger. A lot of their visits have not been reported, but Tet and Matthew Golden are two of them. Let's go Matthew Golden here then.
All right, we go Matthew Golden.
Yeah. Packers at 23.
Oh, hello, old friend. I mean, this could be Shamar. The receivers are gone. Mm-hmm. I like Jaden Higgins. I don't think the NFL drafts Jaden Higgins here.
I don't think so either. They're not going to take Malachi.
No.
They could take Jahdae Barron. He's not their type because he's got smaller arms.
Right.
So if they stick to their corner thresholds, which it's still Brian Gutekunst, so I suppose we have to believe that they're going to. I mean, is Savon Revel in this conversation here?
He should be, but I just don't think so with the combination of age and medical.
Do we think that Maxwell Hairston is? Because he's talked about as a first-round pick.
He is, but he's small, man.
He is small, so he won't necessarily be a threshold guy.
I think it's Shamar.
You do?
It's just such a Packers pick. And the way the board fell.
Hey, it's worked so well for them over the last couple of years.
I think it's Shamar. Okay. I don't want to overthink this.
All right, Shamar Stewart, Green Bay Packers 23. Do we think the Giants trade up to 24 to get Shedeur?
I think they trade up. I don't know who it's for.
Minnesota is the team to trade back.
I'm kind of buying that they like Dart.
The Giants?
Yeah. But
over Shedeur?
It's just it's hard to get a read on.
Do you think Minnesota trades back?
Not necessarily. I know they need picks, but
Malachi would be excellent for them.
Right.
Jahdae Barron would be excellent for them. Gray Zabel would be excellent for them.
He would.
I think they trade back. You cannot have a draft class of 4 players
because they just are so devoid of picks.
You can't have a draft class of 4 players.
Yep.
So I think they trade back. It's just a matter of where they're trading back to.
What we should just have the Giants come up and take Shedeur for the exercise.
I think the Giants are eyeing doing something like that. I really do. Let's have them trade.
Okay.
Where's the Giants? Giants, they give up 34 and shoot.
By the way, it just came in. The Saints are not picking up Trevor Penning's 5th-year option.
I'm not shocked. We had them taking Kelvin Banks Jr. in this draft. So
yeah, I thought it was just good to drop that in there.
Yeah, it's good to know. Okay, so 34 to 24. Let's see. What would it take? 24 is 740. 34 is 560. So almost 200 points. So what's 180? It's a third rounder ish. What's 99? 99 is going to be later. Yeah, it's going to take like...
Hold on, I'll actually help here. And
it'll take 99 and I think 154 for 24.
That's not bad.
Yeah, I think that makes the most sense. Let's do
That's
that.
it?
There. Right? I mean, it's only like
it's 10 spots. So the
or
value...
Or am I missing a pick?
You're missing a pick, so we don't have to go redo the trade. But just to clarify... Oh, man. You were pretty close, actually.
Right?
You were slightly off, but it's nothing that... I always advise people listening to this show when we're trying to get through this many picks, like... The actual trade details can be a little
not
loose.
as important as the trade.
Yeah, we're just trying to outline. So Vikings fans, if you wanted more, you probably get more.
So
there the Giants go, and that's the story of the night, is that Shedeur Sanders is the future in New York for the New York Giants.
Yep. The
Texans
at 25. I'm not convinced they take O-line, man.
Wow.
Maybe I'm way wrong, but brother, they've added so many O-linemen this offseason.
And they don't have to. This pick is probably more what you're saying than, yeah.
They've added Cam Robinson, Laken Tomlinson, Jerome Carvin, Ed Ingram.
Oh, man.
Trent Brown.
It's like walking down.
Like, those guys aren't great. I want to be
it's like
very
walking
clear.
down to Grand Central, and before you go on the subway, you go through something called a turnstile, and there's like 9 of them in a row. That's what that looks like.
I don't know, man. 5 brand new bodies on the offensive line. I guess if you're, I don't know. I don't know what Houston's going to do because I think that it was crazy that they traded Laramie Tunsil. So I have no idea what they're thinking on the offensive line.
Booker? This pick won't be Simmons.
And you don't think it's going to be Simmons?
No, I don't think so.
Well, they drafted Will Anderson, and if DJ's right, and Alabama talks about Tyler Booker as the Will Anderson of the offensive line for Alabama, then
I'd say
could.
My best guess is Booker.
That's fine. I have no leaning at all whatsoever.
You're like, oh,
the two teams that are the toughest for me in the first round mocks at this point are the Miami Dolphins and the Houston Texans, because I do not know what they're going to do. Because Miami, it feels like it's just been depleting talent over the last 2 years and not really addressing it the way that they've needed to. And then Houston is out here with a bad offensive line and then trading the one guy who's actually good at pass protection. And then picking at number 25, so having no idea who's going to make it to them at the end of the first round. So,
yeah, I'll say Booker. It is hard to project because of how late it is, and Cam Robinson's going to be their stopgap, I guess.
Jahdae Barron is perfect for the Rams.
I mean, this is a no-brainer. No-brainer.
I don't really know who else I would pick here. Maybe they would consider Mason Taylor if you think that he's going to get in the first round. But
that's very rich for me.
I know, but the NFL loves Mason Taylor.
Well, you know who his dad is? These are things that you got to think about sometimes. We got to get the draft. It's got to get here.
Ravens at 27.
Another tough team to predict. Malachi being on the board is just almost too good to not take here. I have heard they really want a pure pass rusher, but they're gone. Unless they think Pierce would fit in there. And that does not... I think I would go Pierce over Malachi. Okay. I think they would love to see one of Ezeraku or Mike Green make it here, and I just don't think it's going to happen.
Oh, no, you got Shamar Stewart off the board. Okay. Mm-hmm. So basically Nick Scorton or James Pierce Jr.
Scorton is more their speed, but maybe they think it's time to get something different.
Probably not.
Probably not. organizations that are embedded in their ways. By the way, I think Scorton is a better player than Pierce, so I'm not.
Let's take Scorton then.
All right, let's go Scorton.
I think that the jury's out on James Pierce Jr. and what the NFL thinks of him. We can get Scorton here at 27.
Okay.
Lions at 28.
Donovan Jackson. Or Zabel's here.
Oh, Zabel is still here.
Zabel's the pick.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that'd be a pretty easy one if he gets
That's
there.
so easy for them.
Commanders at 29.
So they're the one team in the first round to me, besides like the obvious of the Eagles, that I think would try to make it work with Pierce. But in this slot, Hampton fell, and I think they would take Hampton.
Oh, right. Yeah. Would they pick a running back over James Pierce Jr.? Yeah. I could see it. I could see them doing that. And then hitting corner later.
Yep.
Yeah, let's do Omari and Hampton. Bills at 30. Normally
you've been on
corner,
this,
but
you've been on this earlier.
Oh,
okay. Yeah, it should be Starks, but you've been on this earlier than me that Maxwell has some buzz here.
I think Maxwell Maxwell Harrison does have some buzz at 30, but not over Malachi Starks.
Business.
They would take Malachi Starks here. Let's go Starks. And then 31 for the Chiefs. Simmons here could very well be Simmons.
To me, this is how he goes in the first round. If they're comfortable with that knee, because
he did a private workout for teams. I guess private workout because it wasn't open to the public, so I would technically call it a private workout.
Yeah,
he did a workout for NFL teams though.
Him.
I don't think it's a guarantee they take O-line though.
I don't think so either. I think defensive line would be in play here too.
Yeah, but
you actually might get a surprise pick in this spot on the D line, like a guy they value differently than everybody else.
Princely,
Swinson.
I think Princely's the most likely guy edge rusher to sneak into the first round. Yeah.
Because he's just he actually fits what I was saying, like pure pass rusher.
Right.
Many moves, stand him up on an island. Man, that would be really, really interesting.
Do we want to throw him in here for...
That's by far our boldest pick.
Yeah.
By far.
I kind of like it. I kind of think there's a chance.
Let's do it.
All right, hold on.
Why not get a little different?
Let's see if this has been reported as a top 30 visit. Let's see if we got this here. Do we have a Princely Umanmi Ellen? We got Ariante Ursary, Anthony Belton. This is from A to Z Sports. Charles Goodman put this out. Bunch of O-linemen, bunch of day 2 O-linemen. Isaiah Bond, Tyrion Ingram-Dawkins, Omar Norman-Lott. Hell yeah, brothers.
Okay.
Josh Simmons.
Yeah.
Oh, combine interviews, though. Princely Umanmi Ellen.
Well, yeah, you talk to almost everyone there.
Just saying.
We're being a little overzealous, maybe.
Josh
Simmons is the chalk. Yeah.
Yeah, Josh Simmons it is. Now, what are the Eagles doing?
Well, whatever the hell the Eagles want, because that's the world we live in.
Nicky Manwari?
No. Maybe. I just wouldn't, but...
No. Maybe.
Connerly is interesting to me. Because...
is Booker still here? Or did we get him off?
He went to the Texans. Okay. Oh, Donovan Jackson.
Yeah, could be Donovan Jackson.
Yeah, this could be the Donovan Jackson slot.
Could be Kevin Winston Jr.
Oh, I would love that. I don't think so, but... I like how high this show is on Winston Jr. It's good for our brand.
No, we're on the right side of history. Oh, yes. Could be Maxwell Harrison, too.
Yeah. So
Harrison or Donovan Jackson. I think it's one of those two.
So Harrison and Quignon would be technically your outside corners with Cooper.
Yep.
That's pretty... And I'm not a big Harrison guy, but that's... it's a lot of good combo of strength and speed across the board.
Let's go Maxwell Harrison here.
Okay.
All right. Maxwell Harrison, though, there. We'll recap this in a second. We got to let you guys know that NFL SE's draft coverage is brought to you by our friends over at Jack Links Duos. Jack Links knows that there's nothing like a great duo. That's why they've created the new Jack Links Duos. It's 2 different pieces of beef jerky with different flavors in the same bag. NFL Draft gives us all kinds of great duos all the time. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua. So many to name. Here in this mock draft, we got Tetsuo and McMillan paired up with Brian Thomas Jr. That's what we ended up doing for the Jacksonville Jaguars. That would be one hell of a wide receiver duo for new offensive-minded head coach Liam Cohen, who knows how to, make something work with good wide receiver duos coming over from having Chris Godwin and Mike Evans with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. A lot of different flavors in the Jack Links Duos collection. Mango and jalapeno. Original and teriyaki is another one. Buffalo and ranch, which is a tried and true combination. Find Jack Links Duos wherever you find Jack Links beef jerky. You can find it. At your local convenience store or select Walmarts as well. All right, had a little bit of computer troubles, and Connor had to bounce for another radio hit. So I will recap here the first round that we have. This is our predictive mock draft that we have. About 30 hours to the 2025 NFL Draft. We had Cam Moore going number 1 overall to the Tennessee Titans, Travis Hunter number 2 to the Browns, Abdul Carter to the Giants at 3, Will Campbell to the Patriots at 4, Tetsuo McMillan to the Jags at 5, Ashton Genty to the Raiders at 6, Tyler Warren to the Jets at 7, Jalen Walker to the Panthers at 8, Kelvin Banks Jr. to the Saints at 9, Colson Loveland to the Bears at 10, Walter Nolan to the Niners at 11, Armand Membu to the Cowboys at 12, Mason Graham to the Miami Dolphins at 13, Ezraku to the Colts at 14, Mike Green to the Falcons at 15, Michael Williams to the Cardinals at 16. Bengals, Kenneth Grant, 17. Will Johnson to the Seahawks at 18. Jahad Campbell to the Bucs at 19. Emeka Egbuka to the Denver Broncos at 20. Derek Harmon to the Steelers at 21. Matthew Golden to the Chargers at 22. Shamar Stewart to the Packers at 23. Shadur Sanders to the Giants at 24, who traded up with the Minnesota Vikings. Tyler Booker to the Texans at 25. Jahdae Barron to the Rams at 26. Nick Scorton to the Ravens at 27. Gray Zabel to the Lions at 28, Omarion Hampton to the Commanders at 29, and then Malachi Starks at 30 to the Bills. 31, Josh Simmons to the Chiefs, Maxwell Harrison to round things out for the Philadelphia Eagles at number 32. Appreciate everybody rocking with us throughout this entire draft process. Very excited to actually see how things unfold on night 1 of the 2025 NFL Draft. Make sure you guys go download the Arena app. Hang out with us over there as we are doing exclusive content. Arena, it is the sports super app combining DFS, a social feed, and your sports news all right there in one spot. So come over and hang out with us there at NFLSC Show, at Tampa Bay Trey, at Connor J. Rogers. You can find us there, and we'll go back and forth with you guys. Also, they have that $200 deposit match when you get into the DFS game. Make sure you're depositing up to that $200 to make sure you get $200 in bonus bets for free. Like we said, somewhere between midnight and 12:30, we will be going live after round 1 of the 2025 NFL Draft for Connor Rogers, wherever he is. I'm Trevor Sikkema saying thank you guys so much for watching and listening to the NFL Stock Exchange podcast. We'll see you after round 1.